Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be about, do you want to have better relationship with your coworkers or your friends or your family or that special someone, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But first, I'm going to do something a little bit different here because it has to deal with trauma in relationships. So I'm going to pick one of Carl Jung's 12 archetypes. And the archetype that I have here is called the hero. All right. So the hero, the axis of a hero's life is power. The hero has an uncommon vitality and resistance that they use to fight for power or honor. They'll do anything to avoid losing. In fact, they don't lose because they never give up. The hero can be overly ambitious and controlling. Sounds like the oh my god, I can't believe I'm forgetting that. The emperor, the emperor, so upside down emperor can be a tyrant or maybe like somewhat of a narky. Maybe this hero doesn't speak his feelings, right? Maybe this upside down emperor suffers with envy, because that's what we have here. All right, envy is the intense desire to have an item that someone else possesses. Proverbs 14:30, a sound heart is life to the body, but envy is rottenness to the bones. Kindness cures envy by pleasing the desires to help others above the need to supersede them. So maybe I'm talking to you, maybe not. Maybe I'm talking to someone a little bit further down the trough from you. So anyways, how to address the trauma in your life for you to have a better relationship with either yourself, that girl next to you, that pretty blonde down the street, or the pretty guy down the street. Make it fit to where it needs to fit. So trauma can get passed down in families from one generation to the next. What am I doing here, right? Breaking generational curses. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I make this channel and other channels, okay? To help people, because most people are lazy to even fix their own lives. If you don't break the cycles, it can affect every aspect of your life, including romantic relationships, right? Dr. Marielle, pretty name for probably pretty bitch, right? Is a licensed trauma psychologist. In her work, she explores the impact of international or intergenerational trauma or mental health and how it can affect relationships. She explains that generational trauma impacts the brain and nervous system capacity to distinguish whether or not a situation or a person. Think about the person you're next to. Is he abusive or is she abusive? Is she avoidant attachment? What is she or him? A person is distinguish whether or not a situation or a person is truly threatening. It also impacts the capacity to focus and to see situations in a balanced way, as well as the causes the mind to delve to heavy emotions like shame, sadness for prolonged periods of time. I see a lot of sad girls out there, a lot of girls without a man and men without girls, You know, regardless of what these girls have to say, women suffer the most in not having someone. I mean, yeah, she might be getting pumped and dumped, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about someone romantically, you know, being around, this and that, you know, because women are driven more to relationships. Men really don't need relationships. You know, we have other things like YouTube channels, our friendship or my friendships with my pals, or me riding my motorcycle, or me going to the gym. I have other ways to have meaning in my life, where women, they're really geared towards relationships because that's why they were made. Vagina, boobs, bam, right? Relationships. I think they suffer the most. But hey, what do I know, right? Trauma even breaks down the capacity of the mind and the body to stay well. See what I'm saying? Which impacts all relationships, including romantic relationships. Trauma has so much to do with our partner selection. What kind of person do you keep attracting or letting in, right? The fun guy, the fun girl, that's fine when you're young and stupid. But you know, as you get older, you're going to be like, man, I was so dumb. Because a lot of us people who are grown up really feel that way time to time, because we made foolish mistakes. Because when we were younger, we wanted experiences and notches under our belts, and then we hurt the good girls and kept the shitty bitches next to us. You know, those broken women. We tended to choose partnerships that feel familiar to what we saw growing up. So if your mom or dad were narcissistic, right, you're going to attract the same thing because it's familiar. And the thing is, you're going to keep the good guy away because you're going to feel that you may not be good enough for him because of what you've been doing and how broken you are. You know, it works both ways. So what we saw growing up, and if those relationships were marked by chaos or dysfunction, we may unconsciously gravitate towards dysfunction. I keep saying like attracts like around here, right? She suggests a few key tactics to address the trauma that might affect your relationships. Think of how your relationship is going. Think about all the men and the girls that you were attracting, right? Identify signs of trauma, okay? In order to move forward, it's important to identify subconscious behaviors that might signal trauma. A few indicators that are indicative and inherited traumas are, and I'll go after them here in a little bit, but you're watching Let's Talk About It with yours truly, Mario Vega, where this channel has to deal with subjects like this because I went through things like this, and I went through traumatic effects that may or may not resonate with me in this article. And I know that there's people out there who are suffering immensely because of trauma. And you know, through the years, how would you say, avoided many girls in the past years because I did see trauma within them. You know, when you cannot hide the pain in your eyes, you can't hide that. Pain is pain. Loneliness is loneliness. Regret is regret. The eyes are the windows to the soul. It doesn't matter if you wear a hat all the way down or all the hair in front of your face. It's all written in your eyes, you know, and I just don't have time to really deal with a lot of people who have pain. You know, if a person is willing to work on their pain and they can admit that they do have pain, that's one thing. Right? Because you can start recovery if you admit you have a problem, just like an alcoholic or a sex addict. You know, because the teacher won't appear until the student is ready to learn. Okay? And other topics we talk here, talk about here at this channel is, sex addiction, drug addiction, P-Hub addiction, and many more other subjects that is relevant to 99% of the people on this planet. And that's why this show will become something someday, because it's just going to, because a lot of people suffer, right? A lot of people will find these subjects necessary to help themselves, because in about 6 more years, 45% of women are going to be childless and alone. That's going to be a lot of sadness, depression, and Control-Alt-Delete situations for women. This is going to be a terrible 6 years. There's Gen Z women, girls, can't reach the age of 25 because they can't handle the depression. They can't handle the sadness. They can't handle the bleakness of life today. So let's get back to signs of trauma. Does your girlfriend or boyfriend display these signs? So let's get on with the article so you can spot these and know which men, girls you leave alone. Okay? You've seen your unhealthy adult relationship patterns reflected in your childhood home, right? You realize that a large part of your emotional suffering comes from not receiving enough love from your caretakers, and that they too suffered the same fate. See? You realize that your family was keeping deep secrets that have plagued them and you emotionally. Acknowledge the impact of trauma in your life, your relationships, in the people around you. We all have suffered to some degree, because there's a lot of shitty people out there, right? If you're not good at putting up boundaries, then certain people might come in and try to use you. And then these people who try to come in and use you sees that you know how to put up boundaries, then they hate you and try to dirty up your name, because that's what children do. This step is crucial, and accepting the reality of trauma is a part of stepping into freedom. That's what this channel is about, because I have freedom. See, I don't allow people to put their hooks into me, because I would rather tell them to go shove it up their ass, because I ain't dealing with their shenanigans. I don't give a shit if they do get upset. Oh, you didn't let me take advantage of you. Well, no shit. Acknowledge that your childhood trauma is impacting and influencing your relationship today, right now. So many of us are stuck in the stigma cycle that don't allow us an opportunity to experience healing. A lot of unhealed people out there, because hurt people hurt people. Acknowledging trauma allows you to call it out, and by naming it, you can move past trauma and its acceptance. Like I said, accept that you have a problem, either with drinking, smoking weed, having sex, or hurting people. She encourages readers to seek therapists. But hey, do you have $30,000 to just lay down? No. So let's continue, right? Excavate the past. Finally, when you're ready, you can begin to dig into the past to see what needs to be left behind. Doing so can help bring abundance in a romantic relationship today. What does that mean? That means if you don't dump your baggage, no other energy, new energy can come into your life. Like that guy that you really want, or that girl that you really want. She won't be able to come in until you let some shit go. That's what that means. Generational trauma. Okay? Seems big and scary, but I can assure you that what lies on the other side is truly liberating. And you should deal with your trauma, because you do deserve to have a good partner. You do deserve the things you deserve. Regardless of what you've been through, you are worth of love. You're worth of passion. You're worth of kisses, hugs, and everything that you desire. You do deserve that, because you should, regardless of what you did in the past. I was a big whore in my youth, okay? I have pictures of women, girls, as you can tell from the background. I have a lot of them because I was that whore. And guess what? That was the past. So if you have a shitty past, make sure that you deal with that trauma so you do make space for the man of your dreams. And if that man really loves you and you can tell him, look, I've worked through my problems, I've worked through my issues, I'm ready to be a good person to myself, and then you, great. Most men will accept women who are serious about fixing their troubled past. We all come from a shitty past. So I hope that this found a way into your heart, and I will see you in a later video.